Constable Crowcroft, you're going to be asked in the States to appoint David Warcup as the Chief of Police very soon on P30 2010. What's your initial thoughts on this?
I think the timing of the proposition is extremely unfortunate. It would have been far better, in my view, for the Minister of Home Affairs to have waited until we've had the outcome of the long-awaited Wiltshire investigation before coming forward with his preferred candidate for the replacement post for Mr. Power.
I suppose that there is the chance, and I'm not suggesting that Mr. Warcup has been up to sort of no good. In fact, he's been what we might call a whistleblower, and I applaud that actually. But isn't there a chance that this suspension could come to the conclusion that he hasn't been as honourable as he might be?
We already know from, for example, the Royal Court judgment that the original suspension of Mr. Power was not carried out properly, and it wasn't carried out according to the proper procedure. Now, one of the four-person appointment panel was the Chief Executive to the States, Mr. Ogley, and I think he clearly has had a part to play in the suspension of Mr. Power, particularly in the initial suspension that has been found to be faulty. So to have him involved in the appointment of Mr. Warcup, or the recommendation of his appointment, is clearly going to give the perception, at least, that the whole process has not been thought through properly, that it's not transparent, and it is not going to stand up to scrutiny. And in fact, I think it is going to mean that this whole matter keeps rumbling on. Yeah,
it's we've got to be, from all the information that I've seen, all the stuff that's in the public domain, Mr. Warcup has only made what really do amount to be allegations against Chief Officer Graham Power. He's been, if you like, accused of rubbishing the Hotel Garan investigation. It's been suggested he sexed up a press release. That has been suggested. It's not really a good look, is it, at the minute?
I mean, I'm not going to comment on Mr. Warcup's involvement in the suspension, or indeed his suitability to be the next Chief of Police. That's a matter for the States to decide when we debate the matter. What I think is most unfortunate is that the Home Affairs Minister, in a climate of suspicion, there is talk about a cover-up, there's talk about dealings in high places that led to the removal of Mr. Power. Against that background, it's entirely inappropriate for him to come forward with the replacement of Mr. Power before we've had the outcome of the investigation.
Right, I'd like to say, I mean, let's get things right here. The establishment of Jersey and most of Jersey do want to see an end to this child abuse Hotel Garan investigation and to rebuild the image of Jersey. I would argue that if Mr. Warcup was to be appointed right now, this is only going to drag on. It's going to guarantee this Hotel Garan debacle carries on for another 5 years.
It's certainly not going to help us clear the air and, as you say, rebuild confidence not only in Jersey in terms of our dealing with the inquiry and the Hotel Garan, but also rebuild confidence in the police force and in the way it's managed and in the political management of the police force.
Well, you said that about the confidence in the police force. It's only rumoured that the morale at the State of Jersey Police right now is at an all-time low. That, if that rumour is to be believed, it would suggest that there is a lack of confidence in Mr. Warcup within the force. We've seen by blogs, you yourself run a blog and you read blogs, you can see that the public haven't got a great deal of confidence in Mr. Warcup. Isn't that paramount that a chief police officer has the confidence of the public?
Well, as I say, I'm not really able to comment on whether morale is low or high at the States of Jersey Police, or indeed to comment on Mr. Warcup as a chief officer. But what is clear to me, as I say, is that the only way to get things onto a secure footing is for the Minister to at least defer his consideration of P30 until we've had the findings of the Wiltshire investigation. And then at least we know that the people involved in the appointment hopefully have nothing on their record which will interfere in our discussions.
They've got to be seen to be whiter than white, really, haven't they?